Hey guys, it's Maymay, and you might remember in our after show on Tuesday night, we opened this from Tamitha. She made this little clutch that she sent to us, which I think is so cute. She sent us some presents and she packaged them like this. Isn't this adorable? I loved this little clutch idea, and she told me that she did it using the lay flat bag, which I already have a video on. We'll link that video for you, and so I wanted to play with it. Now, I was a little selfish and I made a couple changes, not to her design, but I made some additions because I have wanted to use my D-rings that I have in my stash for the longest time. And what a better place, right? This is exactly where they need to go. So if you want to learn to make it with handles or without, this video is for you. So let's get started. So the paper I'm digging into today is yummy. It is the Vintage Artistry Tranquility paper, which I think is so beautiful. And that first purse I showed you came from here, and our second is going to as well. Now, this only uses 2 pieces of cardstock. You use one full 12 by 12 and then and some smaller cuts. So I'm going to start with this guy. Now, something I want to caution you about, okay? Do you see how my flowers are on this side of the page? Now, I'm not using this for the front of mine this time. I'm going to use the plaid this time, but I want to show you. You need to pay attention to where that's going to lay when you start to do your scoring. Now, you can see these were on the side now that I've pointed it out, because you can see that flower going sideways. But I thought it was so beautiful with those 2 big flowers on the front. So I made sure I laid my paper in my scoreboard so it would land like this, okay? So the back looks like this, and the front looks like this. So you need to pay attention to your cardstock if you have a pattern on it. Now, I'm not going to be using the pattern, like I said, so this is going to be the front of mine. All right, here's your score marks. This is so easy, y'all. 2.5 and 9.5. Now, if you're going to use this same Vintage Artistry paper, I want to caution you. This is super thick paper. This is like one of those that I want you to score both sides, okay? So I did 2.5 on one side. I'm going to flip it over and do it on the other. I noticed that I got a little bit of kind of ruffling when I folded on my single-sided score. So I want to double-side score it so I know I can get a better fold that way. All right, so now that you've got those 2 done, I'm going to turn it back to the beginning here, and we're going to turn it in our scoreboard. So our original score lines are running this way now, and we're going to make a couple more. We're going to score at 4.5, and then again at 7.5. I got to be honest, y'all, this is a project that takes me back to why I love paper crafting. And also, this project itself answers my most asked question. Honestly, anytime I'm interviewed or I get the chance to talk to anybody, like a group of students or anything, the question is, what's your favorite type of project to make? And it's always taking a flat piece of cardstock and making something 3-dimensional out of it. So this speaks to that today too. Now, my cardstock is very printed, so it's very hard for me to see my score marks easily. So I'm going to go ahead and fold and crease on my score marks. If you're using this paper, you did your double score, I want to encourage you to not be very forceful with your creasing, okay? You can do it. What I want you to do is just take your time with it. So I'm going to lay this over, and I'll show you what I mean. Lay this over, and instead of just going wham and just, scoring that like I normally do, I'm just going to gently give that a score so that I don't get that kind of torn, ruffly edge. You might get a little bit, but it shouldn't be too bad. All right, let's go ahead and do our side piece here. This paper is stunning. I love working with beautiful, thick, rich paper. All right, we need to make a mark. And the reason I wanted to do that is so I could see my scores better, okay? So I'm going to take my ruler, and we need to make a center mark between our score lines on the sides here. So we've got a score line at the 4.5 and a score line at the 7.5, and we need to find the center. Now, the center of that is going to be 1.5 inches in. So what I'm doing is just taking my centering ruler, and I'm putting 1.5 inches on my score mark, making sure my other 1.5 inches is on that score mark, and I'm going to make a mark. You don't have to be super precise with this, so don't stress. And if you need to make a pencil mark, like I can see my score mark here, if I need to make a pencil mark like that and come over here and make a pencil mark like this, that is perfectly fine. And then I'll just center that up 1.5 inches on each side and mark my middle. Okay, now we want to score here, and I'm going to use my mouse pad for this. I'm just going to bring my mouse pad over, put it underneath, and grab my ruler, And I'm going to score from that center mark we made to where our score marks cross over right here. So I'm going to lay my ruler down, and I'm not going to press too awful hard. This is a pretty thick paper. I just need a good line to get us started, and I can feel that. So again, from our pencil mark to our corner where those cross over there, that little cross section, let's do a little score here. And it just works really good if you have a mouse pad. If you don't have a mouse pad, put a piece of cardstock under there or something that you can press into. And that'll just help you out to get your little score in there. And again, we're going to fold this. We can train it, so it's not the end of the world if you don't get a perfect score here. I know on camera y'all are struggling seeing my little marks there. I am sure of it. So when we do the blog post, I'll be sure to do a photo of this with the score marks so you'll be able to see it. All right, now what we're going to do, we're going to do our traditional lay flat bag. Now, if you've never done one of these, this is how this works. What you'll do is where you have your side scored panels, we're going to go from that 4.5 inch score right here, and we're going to put our finger right down here where it comes to the edge. And what I want to do is I want to lift that score up and toward me until it lines up along this edge. So watch what I'm going to do, and don't worry, I got to do this 4 times, so I'll make sure you understand what we're doing. So you see how I'm just creasing that down on the inside? Let me show you what that looks like when we let it go. You see what that does? So you can see the score line, and we brought it to this edge. Let me do it again. Let's come over here. All right, so I'm going to lay this guy over. Here's my 4.5 inch score mark, okay? Here's where it meets the edge. I'm going to lift that score mark up until it lines up to the side. And just wiggle it into place, no big deal, and then press this here. Now we'll go back and we will crease this with the bone folder in a minute, but I just want to do this motion while I'm doing it. Now that's your right hand side. Left hand side, we're going to do the very same thing, just switch our hands. We're going to lift that score mark up, bring it to the edge, crease the inside, just like that, and our other one. Just like this. I gotta tell y'all something funny. On the inside of this paper, it says December 15th, 2010. And I'm like, wow, when did 2010 become vintage, right? You know, normally we see like 1937. No, today it is 2010 on there. That's funny. All right, now then, what I want you to do, I did this on my first one. I don't know that it's that necessary, but you know those score marks we made? Let's go ahead and give them a little press. And what we want to do is we want to bring this one toward us. So we're just going to do that, okay? I'm not going to do too much work on it, and bring this one toward us just to get it started. So when we need it later, we've got it started. Do you see what we did there? Let's do the other side the same way. So bring the score mark towards you, and it should pick up that score you made. It's not as sharp as the ones you do on your scoreboard, but it's there. So you see how it just shows? That's what we want to do. All right, now for gluing. Let's grab our glue. I have glue all over me from the first one, so if y'all see it on camera, I apologize. All right, so we're going to put glue just like this. I'm going to put it down and then let y'all see where I've put it. So just in that section that we folded, you see how I'm not putting it on that angle, just in that folded section. And I'm going to go ahead and put it on both ends because it's easier whenever I close this guy down to glue them down at the same time. I just thought about this. You guys are probably saying I don't have my rings on today. I'm having some knuckle swelling on this finger. I don't know if I've injured it or if it's just a product of old age. And so I was like, I got to not wear them today and give that knuckle a break. I think I've injured it. It looks really red, so I think I've done something to it. But anyway, if you're looking, that's why they're not there. All right, the other side, just the same. Same glue. And then just push that down. And you saw me do this earlier. I like to take my bone folder and just kind of work that glue down here. Now, this is why this is called a fold flat bag, because these are bags you can prep. I've done this in my scrap busting series. You can prep these and put them into like a folder or into a file drawer or anywhere and lay them flat. And when you need a bag, you just stand it up, put a closure on it, and you've got a bag, right? So this is a good one if you just need another. So you're getting 3 in 1 today. Actually, I guess 3 projects in 1. All right, let's go to the next step. The next step is this. I'm going to glue this shut. If you were using this as a fold flat bag, you would not glue this until you needed the bag, right? So we're going to go right here in this little triangle section and apply glue. I'm going to go ahead and do 2 sides, just this little section to stand this guy up. And you'll see when we do this, we're going to press forward and push those down. And this is where I'm going to use my bone folder to really crease it. I'm going to get in there and press and get that really pressed down. If your cardstock is not as thick as mine, you won't have to work this so much, but this cardstock is so nice and rich. See that? Nice and flat. All right, same thing on this side. Then I'm going to fold it down and crease the inside as well. I know it's wintertime and it's not where we can really ship art glitter glue all over the world, but I don't sing its praises enough. It is just the best glue, and I just have to say it. It just does that. It makes quick work of these kinds of projects. All right, let's sturdy up this strip right here. Let's put that nice, pretty strip on it. Now, for time's sake today, I went ahead and cut all my little pieces. We'll make sure in the blog post to give you all the measures, and I'll tell you as I'm going, but I did go ahead and cut all those down just to get us a little head start in our filming. So these pieces are 2 by 7 inches, and what I'm going to do is put them into my scoreboard, and I'm going to score them at 1 inch. So right in the middle. I'm putting them on the 2-inch side. If you can see that I'm doing the long side. So we're scoring it right in the middle at 1 inch, and that's all the scoring I'm going to do. Now I'm bringing my bag back over, and I'm going to fold this guy up. Fold both of them. Matter of fact, this paper's textured, so I'm going to go the other way so the textured shows. I'll put the smooth side to the inside. This gray paper is so beautiful. We just got this in. It's sold in a pack by itself, and it's textured on one side a little deeper than the other side. So I put the more textured side out, and this is going to be what creates kind of our top band of our purse. So I'm going to add glue. Now, here's what I want to tell you. I'm not adding more glue. I'm just adding glue to all of the surface here, okay? So don't over glue, just get good coverage with your glue, because this is what's going to add stability to the top of your clutch bag. So you see I've got a lot in there. I don't have too much, I just have a lot of coverage, and then I'm going to sandwich this on top of our little bag. Isn't that cute? You could do so much. Listen, this is where you can just be a little fashion plate designer, and you can border punch this or add other pieces. You can do so much right here in all of this part we're doing. So just have fun and just start designing. Be a little fashion designer. Who remembers fashion plates? Every time I say it, it's kind of a mixed bag. In the comments, some of you guys will remember fashion plates and some of you guys won't, but it was one of my favorite toys. All right, we're going to sandwich the second side. And these are flush. They just go right to the edge, and they just become what gives it a lot of strength and really kind of shores up the purse. You see how we just barely did those little folds? They work perfect like that. Let's go ahead and add our magnet to the middle just so we have that done. So let me grab my magnet. Today I'm using the ones from Tonic that I have to add my own adhesive to. Not a big deal, but you're going to see me do it, so I wanted to tell you what I was using here. So I'm going to use some sticky tape. Just a piece, place it on the back of my magnet like so. Then I'm going to reveal that tape like that. And I'm going to place this guy roughly centered on the back. What I mean by that is I'm just eyeballing this. It really doesn't matter. I won't be covering this with paper. I don't mind if this magnet shows. Magnets show in my purse in real life, and they can show in here in real life just the same. So it's going to live right there. I need one more piece of sticky tape on the back side of this magnet. And you can use Velcro here if you've got it. I didn't have any Velcro. Tamitha used Velcro, and it was a good idea. I didn't have any in my stash. I'm surprised. I usually keep it, but I couldn't find any, so I thought, well, I got magnets, so I'll use those. All right, so I've got the sticky on there, and what I'm going to do, holding my purse up and getting it square, because remember, if you close your magnet down and stick it down incorrectly, it's going to stay that way, okay? So I want to square up my bag and then press my magnet so that it picks up on both sides. And so now my magnet is there. See? I'm going to open it up for us to do some work, but you can see now it's on both sides where it should be, and my purse will fold nice and square. All right, let's do some more fancy footwork. So I told you I wanted to use these D-rings. I've had them in my stash. We carry them in the store, and I have been meaning to use them for the longest time. And I was like, this is a perfect place. So I got myself a pack of these. Now, the ones I'm using today are the 1 1/4 size. We have them in 1 inch and we have them in 1.5 inch. This works for whatever you're doing, and you could use any of those for this project because none of them are too big for this project. I just really wanted to use these today. So this is what we're gonna do. We got those guys out, and we're gonna need to create some pieces to put them onto our bag. So I'm using these 4 little pieces, which are 1 1/8 inch wide by 2 1/4 long. And the reason I did 1 1/8, remember this is a 1 1/4 D-ring. I wanted just enough room for it to move and for my D-ring to have a little bit of wiggle. So that's why I went 1/8 of an inch smaller than the opening here. And you can do that, or you can change that measure all you want. Now, before we do anything else, we need to establish where we're going to punch holes. So here's what I did. I took one of them, I laid it down on my cutting mat, and I hovered it over the inch. So I've got like a 16th of an inch hanging over here and a 16th of an inch hanging over here of my inch mark. And that's what I was looking for. And then I'm going to run up on the 1/4 of an inch in spot and make a mark. And on this 1/4 of an inch in spot and make a mark. I'm trying to be pretty accurate on this. All I have to do is spend some time on this one, and this is going to become my template. So after this, it'll be easy. But I'm going to poke holes right where I made those marks. I'm using the small hole on my crocodile. It's plenty big enough because I'm going to put this on with brads. So I got one done. And even though I took my time, I was still a little bit off on this one, so I went ahead and punched it a little higher, and I'll know to use it as my template a little higher on these guys. So I'm going to lay this on top of my other ones. You see my little circles there, and this is going to be my template. And what I'm going to do, because this gray is too dark for me to see through my crocodile, I'm going to make myself a pencil mark through it. Just like that, so I can see it. And I might even get my white pen out and do it so I can see. But typically pencil lead kind of shimmers and I can see it. Then I'm going to flip this guy around and make those marks on the other side as well. So all my holes will end up in the same spot, top and bottom. All right, and then we'll punch them. Now on your last one, you'll need to get one of these guys and go back and punch the other end. And you can just line this up and punch right through it, and you'll have all 4 of your holes done. Okay, now with those 4 pieces we put the holes in, I want you to take a bone folder and I want you to curl them like they're ribbon. I don't want to do like a super tight fold at the top. I want it to wrap like fabric would. So that's why I'm going to treat this like ribbon and do this kind of ribbon slide situation here, this ribbon pull kind of thing, and soften this guy up. To put these guys in place, I did this. You can do this wherever you want it, but I wanted them to be 3/4 of an inch away from the sides of the purse. So I put my ruler down. I found the 3/4 of an inch mark, and right here at the gray, I made a pencil mark 3/4 of an inch in. I'm gonna do the same on this end. Just hold my ruler there, and at the top where the gray meets the pink, I'm just making myself a pencil mark. And let's do that on both sides so we're ready to go, and we can install our little D-rings. Okay, so we got our marks made. Now let's get our D-rings ready to go. What we're gonna do is we're gonna apply glue inside of this guy, and I'm going up about 1/4 of an inch above the holes that I punched. Then I'm gonna slide the D-ring on into the middle there, and I'm just gonna fold this over, line my holes up best I can. If they don't line up, we can punch them again. Mine are not lining up perfectly. I tried. I'm telling you, I could not see this gray. I could not see it through there. My age is really showing today. All right, and then I'm even going to take my fine metal tip and push some glue inside of here, up even a little higher, because I found that these guys don't have to wiggle side to side too much. I kind of like it a little tight, so that's why I'm doing that there. You guys see how my hole doesn't line up right there? This side is good, but this side isn't. I'm telling you, I'm struggling seeing today. This gray inside of that silver is a struggle. So what I'm going to do is just make that mark with a white pen so I can see it, and then put it in to here and line them up again. My age is showing today, y'all, in lots of ways, and this is one. So I'm sure I'm not the only one who struggles seeing through this little guy, and maybe that's a good tip you can use if you struggle as well. It's weird to see how things have changed over the years with my crafting, and how I thought, you know, in the days of old, I could see just fine and not have any problems, but I guess now's the days of old. I don't know. Maybe today is the day of old. But anyway, there's a tip in case you need it. All right, so we've got all of those ready. Now what I want to do is I'm going to bring them over like this. I thought about go ahead and gluing them on, but what I found was when I put my brads on, if I needed to make any adjustments, if this guy wasn't glued down, I could wiggle him into place. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to line the paper up with our 3/4 of an inch line, and I want these guys to live underneath my little piece here because my handle will go above like that. And what I'll do is holding this on that 3/4 of an inch mark and lined up at the underneath of our little band at the top, I'm just going to take my pokey tool and poke through. Now listen, get your finger out of the way in the back. This is thick paper. And once it goes through, it goes through. So make sure your finger is not back there. And poke that in. Now I'm going to use some brads. And I'm going to use these screw head brads. We have these in store as well. So I'm going to put 2 of these in. You don't have to use 2. I just thought 2 looked good side by side. Now, do you see, here's something I want to show you. Do you see how one is up higher than the other? You can kind of, this is one reason I didn't want to glue this guy down. I can kind of maneuver it. I can kind of wiggle it around and kind of press these guys in. It's paper, so you can really, you know, make any kind of adjustment you need to line them up. So you can wiggle them into place and get your little screw brads on. And then if this guy's crooked, because we didn't glue him down, I can straighten him up. And what I'm going to do is take my tip of my glue and put it underneath here and apply a little bit of glue, and now it's glued in place permanently right there. So that's how we install the little piece. So I'm going to do that 3 more times. I got to thinking, if you've never seen a brad installed, I need to show you this part too. So I poke the little brads through the hole, and when you flip it around, you see how the little prongs stick out? These prongs, there's 2 of them on each brad, and you just open them up and press them down. That's how those work. And you can always add something inside there to hide those. You can put some paper or a sticker over them or anything. So that's something I would do before I send it as a gift. Put something in there, maybe a whole panel of paper to cover it up. But now we have our D-rings all installed, and we can put our handles on. Now for my handles, I'm going to use 3/4 of an inch by 12 inch strips. So 2 of those. And just for reference, on the end, I'm going to use my cutting mat to help me do this. On the end, I'm going to make a pencil mark at 1 inch. I don't want to fold these, so that's why I didn't like crease them. I want to kind of wrap them like we talked about before, like fabric. So I'm just making myself a little reference mark at 1 inch because that's how much I'm going to wrap around the D-ring to glue on. I feel like it needs a little bit more than 1/2 inch to kind of be sturdy. So we'll start with that. So we know that part is going to be what goes onto our D-ring. Now what I want you to do is take that bone folder and curl this like ribbon again. The curl helps it to lay in place better. Just helps it look more like a handle. So just curling that down like so. All right, so we've got one handle installed. I'm going to show you what we do from here. So you've made your 1 inch mark and curled it. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to take one end and stick it underneath the D-ring. Okay, we're going to start from the front on one side. We're going to apply our glue like so. And then at that 1 inch mark, I want the D-ring to be at that pencil mark we made. And then I'm just going to wrap this over. I'm not like creasing it. I'm just wrapping it over and pressing it into place. And that's how you put in a handle. Super easy. Now, from experience, it's best to let this guy dry before you really head over here, or let it have a good opportunity to adhere, okay? And what I want to show you on this side, you want to make sure on this side you come from underneath again, okay? If you go from over the top, like if you bring this over and wrap it like this, your handle will be twisted. So when you come over here, you're going to make sure you come from underneath and do exactly the same thing. So we're going to apply glue at our 1 inch marking up. And then we will wrap over our D-ring at the pencil mark and just close that guy together. Just like that. All right, this is our bag basically done. Now I gotta let that dry. I always get a little anxious. I wanna see how it looks. So make sure you give it time to dry, don't force it. But that is how our bag looks basically. There's one other thing I wanna, well actually 2 other things I wanna show you. One is, I gotta show you something you can do to these corners, which I'm in love with. Ready for this? If you were here for the Thursday night show, we got this new punch in from We Are, which is the photo corner punch, but it is perfect for these purses. Check this out. I just had this in my mind. I thought, this is gonna work, and it does. This is a punch and emboss. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna punch and then press a little harder. Nothing comes out the back, it's actually closed. But what happens is when you remove the paper, so you pull the paper out, you see your punch is there. And so what you end up with is some embossed edges here, or embossed lines here, and then the punched edge there. So we need 4 of these. You know where they're going, right? They're gonna look so good. You really don't have to press this that hard. I find that I over press it. That time I tried to go real gentle, and that was just fine. It punches and it scores. So don't over press. I don't want you to break the handle. Just punch, press. That's all you got to do. You can feel the punch go through. So there's 4 of those little guys, and now look how cute this is. So they're actually just perfect to wrap around this corner. You don't have too much to try to hide or try to get rid of. So what you do is you fold these little guys up, your little corners up that are already scored for you, add glue to them, and also add glue to the front part, the little floral part, and watch this. This guy will install onto this corner so cute. You just lay him in and press the sides around, and it's perfect for a little decoration on the corners of your bag. Look at that. I'm gonna get a lot of use out of this punch. This is why I love punches. So much fun. So I got my little corner pieces on, and they really do look cute. They almost look like feet, so they don't look bad that they don't wrap all the way around. I think they look really cute. Now what we want to do is we want to install a little wraparound piece. That's not actually necessary. If you don't want it, you could just put a little piece of bling right here or something, or not put anything there. You could add a monogram. Wouldn't it be cute to monogram? Oh, why didn't I think of that? That would have been so cute to have a little monogram right there. Still can do it. I got an idea. Let's do it. So I dug into my stash and I pulled out a Dress My Craft scallop stitched circle die and got a circle big enough, and I'll show you what's going to go on it, for the T from our monogram set. I thought since this purse was inspired by Tamitha, we'd use a T on here, and I think this is going to be adorable. So I'm going to line this up, and I'm going to put a magnet right here to kind of help hold that in place, because this could move, and with it being a circle, you know. So let's pick this guy up very carefully, and let's add some ink. I'm going to do it in black. Let's rub that down. Picked it up very carefully because I don't want to have to replace it. Should have stamped first and then done the die, but I just don't do things in the right order nowadays. Oh, perfect. Look at that. That's so pretty. I love how that turned out. Now, I think I'm just going to put this on the front just like this. And I think I'm going to do it. I was thinking about doing it with foam tape and popping it up, but I think it'll look better to look like part of the fabric if I do it, just glue it straight down. So that's what we're going to do really quick. So just gluing it straight down. What a cute gift idea, right? Wouldn't that be cute for bridal shower or bridesmaids or graduation gift for someone? Gosh, you could do this for anything. This is so cute. All right, let's do our last little step. So this strip is 4 inches by 1 inch. And this is the piece that you can use to do the wraparound here. Let me show you how this works. I'm going to curl this, okay? And what you'll do is you'll place this, let me open these up. You'll place this over and decide where you want it. Now, I did this piece before I thought about doing this little circle, so I'm gonna need to make mine shorter. But if you want yours to look like my original one, I'll show you. If you want it to like this where it wraps way over, and the same in the back, it's 4 inches, okay? But I'm gonna make an edit on this one because I made an edit to the front. So what I'll do, let's do this. I'm gonna take a punch that is, this is 1.25 inches, and I'm gonna put one end in the punch, but I'm leaving an end out. Do you see how I'm doing that? I've got this end hanging out of the punch, and then that other one is just tucked right inside. And when I punch, I'll get that curved edge. I really like that. I'm not gonna do it to the back. I don't think I need it. And I'm gonna decide where I want this to go, which I think is right there, just on that little piece. I think that'll be perfect. So I'm gonna curl it one more time, but this time I'm doing it tighter because before I was gonna be out here with my turnaround, and now I'm gonna be up here more in this direction. So let's see where I want this to live on the back. And I don't want it to go that far down. There's no need for it. So I think I'll make a little pencil mark about here and just cut that off. You could put this in the trimmer if you want to be super straight, but I'm just gonna trust my scissors right there. All right, so let's glue this to the back. I'm gonna add glue back here. And I like to stand this up where I can see it and put my handles down so I can find the center back here where I want it. And I'm looking between my D-rings. I wanna try to get that as centered as I can. And before it gets super dried, I'm gonna turn it around and check the front even, just to be sure we're in the right spot. That's good. Yeah, that's good. All right, let's add a magnet. This time, since this is not really holding anything shut or doesn't really need any strength, I'm gonna use these little guys instead of the bigger one that I did earlier, but we install it the same way. So I've put them together. I have a plus and a minus, and I'm gonna peel off this little backer. This is not the tonic ones that don't have the adhesive on. This is a basic gray, and it already has the adhesive. I didn't have the bigger ones with the adhesive, so I just used my other ones. All right, so I'm gonna stick this to the back, just like that of our little flap, and then peel the plus side off, the little protector piece. This is always fun because the pokey tool is metal and it sticks to the magnet as well. All right, and then wrap this around where you want it to go, and it wanted to go right there. So there's another magnet underneath, and so it wanted to, but I'm gonna try to tell it to go where I want it to go, which is right here, more in that area. There we go. Look how cute this is, you guys. I love this, and I'm grateful for Tamitha for sending us this to inspire me. I just love it. And I got to use my D-rings and play with 3D projects. A big day for me today. I enjoyed it very, very much. Here's my first sample one that I did. I love both of these guys, and the paper pack, are you kidding me? I would carry this bag like 100%. I would buy a bag that looks like this. I know me. All right, guys, here's what I want you to do. Make them. I want to see you guys make these and put them on our customer gallery. I love to see what you guys do, especially with the purses, because when you become little fashion designers, it's insane what you guys can do. So share your projects with us on our customer gallery at MaymayMadeIt.com. Also, there'll be a blog post linked in the description. Our Facebook group, Maymay Made It and So Did I, is linked in the description. Go share them over there as well. Post your photo in both places so everybody can see them. And thanks, Tamitha, for sending us such a cute little idea and giving me all the measures and helping me get it done. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. And until next time, bye now.